I suppose it's at the witching hour, between 3 and 5 or something, I don't know, that I wake up and I feel so inspired to say things out loud. And it was no different this morning as my eyes just popped open and I looked around and I wanted to have tea and something warm to drink. I was quite cold. I have been quite cold lately, and I got my house coat. It's pink. It's the same one that I wore when I arrived in Quebec City. I was in some kind of Victorian house group home, and just trying to remember here. I have memory gaps because I go in and out of character from my past lives, and I have memory blocks, but they come back, guys. They come back. These characters that are inside of me. Like, really, seriously, it's funny. I have fun. I never am bored with me. I can live with myself. I don't need people around me all the time. It's lucky because I woke up at 4:11. The missing 411 phenomenon. I hate grammar. I gave up Duolingo because I hate grammar. Just teach the damn language, would ya? But you waste time here. Yes, I've always been a weirdo. This video, by the end of it, you're going to know exactly how and why I planned out this life. And you might even believe me at the end of it. Because I guess I don't even believe me until today. Well, it just keeps unfolding more and more of my story. But I saw my pink, fluffy house coat over on the wall there. I gotta get over to it, but it's so cold. But I thought, well, it's worth it because I can get a cup of tea if I get that house coat on me. I found it at a thrift store. When I walked into the store, it was the first thing I saw. I'm not kidding. This thing was brand new. Brand new. And it looked like something out of the Hudson's Bay, where it was really a good quality. And it had its full shape still. It was brand new in this thrift store. And what is that doing here? And I just picked it up and I thought it's going to be $50. Gotta be. Minimum. No. $2. $2. Oh, Did I ever have a good shopping day that day in the thrift store? Because I found an apartment and I was going to settle into Quebec. And people at the Victorian House for mental cases, I guess, a group home. I didn't know where I was. It was some kind of a group home. Really nice, very clean, and great food in an antique, clean house. What more do you want? And friendly people, too, although most of them didn't know much English. So I was thinking to tell my camera that when I woke up this morning, so suddenly, how I planned out my life. I did. I planned it out. I gotta prove it. I had predictions too. I don't know who's talking right now. I have no freaking clue. It's some character from my childhood, though. I know that. Because I remember acting at school, not just in class, but with my friends or by myself. I would put on this voice, this false is a male voice. Like I can't do it today because my old age, it is the voice. So I was doing an old age voice when I was like 12 or 13. It was all around the time of Reagan, too, Ronald Reagan, where I predicted he would be responsible for the nuclear war. By the way, it turned out he is. You're gonna find out one day. But it was Donald Trump I actually saw. I thought they looked the same, kind of redheaded. Which I don't trust those redheads one little bit. So anyway, I was waking at 4:11, and I had the urge to start talking and saying out loud what was inside of me might be important for other people. And there is nothing I like better than to help other people. So I'll upload this. Apparently, 800 and some people kind of like it. But I know I have people on there that don't like me. Wow, foutoir, foutoir. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What matters is that I remember things. And I want to talk about Harry Hawk, George Pill, that's Pill, and I said it just like that too. I'm George Pill, that's Pill. I would do that voice. And I would do Harry Hawk's voice, who's a male, strong voice. Harry Hawk and George Pill, Pill. But there was another character that I did very well, and I knew by heart. And there was an old show in the 60s called Dragnet. You can look it up, Dragnet. And I don't remember watching it. Really, I don't. It didn't seem like my type of show. Maybe my brother's, but I was all girl. I liked Bewitched and the Brady Bunch and yeah, that kind of thing. So, but he would watch Dark Shadows, The Twilight Zone, and this Dragnet show, I think. Somebody watched it, I didn't. But I picked up the voice and the whole narration of his introduction to the show. They did it in a narration style. So I'm only in like a middle school. What the hell? So something clearly is going on, you know, that I know things in advance, right? And to me, it kind of validates me. And anytime, any chance I get to validate me, I'm going to do it. Spent most of my life beating the shit out of myself. And we tend to do that. Those words that we hear, you know, people say to us, we begin to take it on, you know, and begin to say the same bullshit. So that's why I tell my friends, you know, that you should really drop words in your head that really beat the shit out of you. It's stupid. Carry them around. But I suggest if you don't want to change or you don't want to know, that you don't watch this, because I'm going to lay out to you how it works, you know, and it might be good information. You might grow a brain. And I say that in the nicest possible way. You know, I always mean well. I just have a dry sense of humor when I'm especially from England. You know, the Rose of England. Yeah, I'm her too. And I feel very strongly attached to the United Kingdom. They say I was born with an English accent, a sort of English Southern accent, they said. And you know, the British did get over to yeah, New Orleans over there or something. I don't remember. Anyway, these characters inside of me that come out from time to time, I really, they're characters of my past lives. I can be Mother Mary, sure, sure. I could be Queen Mary of Scots, too. Yeah, because I've told you, I think I gave birth to Jesus Christ. You know, that's how crazy I am. That's the whole rub here. My whole channel has been talking about that. And I just appear really nuts to the majority because people don't know reality if it came up and slapped them in the damn face. They don't, because they're lobotomized and they're trained in schools what they're allowed to believe and what they are not, and they're very obedient. Well, they're trained in schools, like schools of thought. Like, you know how fishes travel in schools? You can imagine being in the ocean. Oh, I love the ocean, by the way. I really love the ocean. You're in the ocean, and there are these fish everywhere with brilliant colors. You ain't never seen those colors up here, I'll tell you that. And these colors are like illuminating. The moon will shine on them. Oh my God, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you're missing. You can go to Cozumel or, you know, if you want, because they're there really loud and clear. But they are muted. Those colors are muted along the shores of the Americas, really. Where was I? Right. So I wanna sort out, because I can do that. In hindsight, it's 2020, and it's clear to see how I planned out my world in childhood, or I don't know. You tell me in the comments what you think this is that going on, that I would be in and out of character. Oh, I get it. I get it. I woke up at 4:11, but I'm not missing, because nobody misses me, to the thought of psychopaths. Oh, what time is it? 1833. All right, I gotta remember that so I can tell people. I'll get to the point at 1833. I often go in a million different directions because of my personality. Characters keep freaking popping up and taking me off grid, taking me in trails, these other thoughts. So, deltas, right? Deltas. Yeah. So, where was I again? Psychopaths and narcissists. And I know a lot of them. And I am here on a mission to talk about the petty world. And in order to do that, I have to explain more than the petty world. I have to explain how they came to be and why they are. And I'm also going to explain malignant narcissism. That's a different thing than psychopaths. Malignant narcissists, whoa, they're calculating. Now they can be covert, which is out in the open and you can tell they're just assholes. Or they can be covert, which means they smile and they have a lot of friends. But mark my words, they have someone with them, one person, these malignant narcissists have one person to that they confide in, and they don't mind telling how dirty they are in the mind, like they talk down about people and spread words that make people look at you differently. Like, I've been judged a lot with people I don't even know. They hate my guts in my circles, my mom's circles, especially my sister's circles, my half-sister. I'm Cinderella, too. I am not kidding. I am a character from Disney. I think I wrote this book. I really do. I think I wrote out this whole damn thing. Because even Cinderella, my favorite Disney movie, is me. And what I'm going to end up telling you at the end is that everything you're looking at is you. And recognizing. I recognize things. Like when I was young, I wanted to be an actress. I was blonde, and I saw the 7 Blondes on Hollywood. There were like 7 blonde actresses, and I looked like them. Jodie Foster, I gotta try and remember their names now. Marilyn Monroe, Jodie Foster, they're all blondes. Elizabeth Montgomery, Shelley Long. I look like them. I said, I'm them. Yes, I am. And I belong over there in Hollywood. Somebody made a mistake. I know my dad said the same thing. He was supposed to be born in Tennessee with his brother, Elvis. So that's how I came to. If you're following, you should take notes and follow my thinking. Instead of doubting me, I'll tell you how it works. Pay attention. Christ's sakes. So, yeah, my dad was born in or around, well, in Saskatchewan, in Canada, he found my grandma, who's from northern Norway, way up in the fishing villages of Lofton Islands, Lofton, Norway, a fishing village with northern lights and where we have the midnight sun. And they had emigrated to Port of Halifax in 1910 and got free farmland in Saskatchewan, southern, right on the border of America, right smack on the border, always lived right on the border. And all my life, I've lived right on the border. Every house, practically, you could get there within 30 minutes. And so my dad, I want you to follow here and take note and catch me if you can, any kind of, you know, deviation from the truth. I don't want to do that. I'm not a liar here. Crazy, I sit here and lie. But I do that. It's just a matter of sorting it out, for me anyway. It's my channel, it's my story. I can do whatever I want, right? So can you. So can you. But you do you, and you do you well. You don't do me, because it's impossible. My half-sisters try, and they became narcissists because they're psychopaths, malignant narcissists, and then narcissists. And the narcissist, well, they're for sure my sisters, but they got green with envy. I'm 10 years older than both of them. One 8 years older and one 10 years older. But they are the same age. And one comes from my dad's new marriage to a redhead. Damn those redheads. But it's worse, it's burnt red, which means they're going to be black next time. And my mom married the same kind of hair, red with black tinge. He's going to be black next life. Orange is the new black. They tell you everything here, but you don't pay attention. You're learning in schools of thought. So you're going to think the same as everybody else. So you're going to think, you got company, so you're right and I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm just trying to sort out my own story, kids. Just doing the best I can. I feel I have this defensiveness in me still that is through and through when it's there. I'm on guard, always on guard. I believe it's from this life because I have been judged and stoned harshly, very harshly. You know, I have a particular listener. Her mother was rotten and a redhead and really caused a lot of trauma for the family, and they do, right? But then I was talking about forgiveness one day or something, or maybe it was about Frank. She got upset. I don't know. But she judged me and continues to make my life, difficult. Sent me some really horrible email over and over and over, like 10 a day, like really bad words, the worst words. She said, I can smell you from here. She uses the senses to hurt my heart. And when you start using the senses against people and the way they look or things they cannot change, and then they go into self-doubt and begin maybe to abuse themselves. And I don't know why some people who are abused emotionally become abusive. You'd think there'd be some empathy, you know. I couldn't do that to someone. And, I really couldn't do that to someone. I could never, ever be abusive. I can be defensive. It's absolutely true. And reactive. Oh my God. Listen to my reactions. I am fucking gonna. But those are reactions to direct attacks on me. I don't react like that to outside things. So Harry Hawk, George Pill, that's Pill, Dragnet, I would act out in middle school. It's just funny that they're all male. And sometimes I feel male. Like they say men walk with their feet pointed outward for balance, but women walk with their feet forward. Well, that's only because we've been emotionally trained to do that. It's not comfortable. At least me. Guys, I don't know. What about you? Put it in the comments. Do you walk with your feet pointed out? Are you male or female? So, when I was a child, I really wanted to be an actress and a teacher. Those two things. I was wondering if anybody else played a certain role, up until mid school or something. If you can help me out by even just relating to me, helps me a lot. Helps me want to keep going. And I'm not one of those, I subscribe to YouTube. That's why I don't have ads. And, I do things that are convenient because I'm stupid when it comes to artificial intelligence. It's extremely difficult for me to remember how to do things. No, I can't. It's like learning a language that I would never get, like Arabic or something. I just don't get it. These words and symbols that are used are hypnotic suggestions. All words are hypnotic. It depends on how much I take in. And then it becomes a neuro-linguistic program in me, NLP. You can look it up. But they don't give you they lie. It's easy to lie in AI. You can't lie in person, really. It's exhausting. You can't keep it up. But online, it doesn't take any energy. It's other than typing. Because you're not emotionally connecting with anything. So you're not being drained. And so you're like a psychopath when you're online. And I can tell because people have said the meanest and cruelest things to me they'd never say in person. Ever. Ever. They would not. They just would. If they would, they would just be taken off the street. That's a sure thing. We say things to our spouse, especially men. They feel threatened around women. They do that because they are not here to be intelligent or create. They're not creators at all. They are builders, and they don't accept their role. They don't. They're envious of women. Dr. Freud, you were projecting when you said women wanted to be men or have a penis and fantasized about their fathers. That's what Freud thinks. It's in the books, and it's taught everywhere in what? Schools of thought. And people actually believe it. Women are not dummies. We're the creator of you, boys. Ask your mom. Make her sure she's got a vagina, not a penis. You know, you gotta make sure now. Oh my God. Yeah, it's craziness here in this world. But I just wanted to add that the reason I'm here, I dropped into Earth from Venus. Men are from Mars and they blew themselves up. And women are from Venus, by the way. So you can take that literally. And, oh shoot, what was I saying? Mars. Okay, so probably hung up on me all by now anyway. I see how analytics work a little bit. I looked once and it didn't look good. It looked like they watched for a minute and then moved on. And we tend to do that if we begin to hear things we don't want to hear. And that's how it works too. We hear things we don't want to hear, we're going to hang up. I'm going to do the same thing. So it's not very good for my analytics because I'm talking to schools of thought from my right brain, which is my personality and character brain. I gotta tell you a poem I wrote my sister when I was 12. She was 4 or something. But she was already, oh, maybe I was 13 or 14. I don't know, grade 8, grade 9. But this is a poem I wrote in the early ages of my middle school years. You wake up in the morning and you think you'll stay in bed. Your legs are feeling funny. Your eyes are heavy lead. Your mom comes in to get you up. But say you have the flu. You can't get up to face the world. But that is nothing new. Finally, you bring yourself around to look into the mirror. Your ugliness is showing. Your face looks like your rear. But lo, a fairy queen arrives and says, please worry not. She closed her eyes and tapped a bit and counted up to 9. But when she opened up her eyes, she saw an ugly face. She said, my dear, I have to say that you're in a hopeless case. I got just one bit there mixed up, but that's the poem. I love poetry, you know. I did very well in the subjects that I did well in school. Like I did well in baking or cook home ec, you know, baking home ec, but I failed in sewing home ec. I didn't want to fiddle like that. And I couldn't figure out how to thread that sewing machine if my life depended on it. I still can't. I sewed together a quilt for my grandson after I lost my child in 2003, and then I lost Dylan to an adoption. I I got his sheets, his little blankie, and his sheets, and I cut them into squares, and I wanted to make a quilt. And it was my ex-husband who threaded the thing for me, because I couldn't figure it out. I wonder how he knew. Huh. Anyway, he did it. And it was a Singer sewing machine. I couldn't figure it out, but I had it. It was mine. Came with that case and it was a beautiful thing. It was used, old-fashioned vintage. And so I cut up these squares and got some cotton batting and put it in the middle. And this quilt was so soft. Of course, it's a baby quilt, right? Made of baby stuff. But it was so good, so soft. And I just put some yarn on a needle, and in each corner of each square, I tied a little bow, a little white bow to hold it together. And it worked. Just put them on every corner of every square. No sewing involved. I did that. I would I would swim the ocean for him. I would for my son as well. But he was taken, my friends, by a psychopath who targeted me when I worked for Reindex Home International. And there were signs, but they were signs to give me comfort, like he couldn't get enough of me, or he just liked me so much. He had to keep calling over and over and over. My granddaughter's mother, yeah, my granddaughter's mother is another burnt redhead woman, very promiscuous. And she found my son. Now, what are you going to do when you don't take care of birth control? A lot of them do it on purpose because they're jealous. And they wanted Trevor. They see he had a baby, Dylan Thomas. So she wanted a baby. That's what people are doing down fucking here. They're just having babies for whatever, every reason, not love, to use them, abuse them. That's why I'm here. And I want one word added. It's 50-50 right now at the time. I want one word added to the new alphabet crew. P. Because it belongs there. LGBYP. Don't separate them because it's all an orientation. And it's not up to you or me to forgive these characters. King James was a big one too. P, the P in the new alphabet. It's got to be there to be fair. And I'm sick to death of people covering things up and pretending everything is okay. It's not okay to be proud of anything, really, because you didn't. Why would you be proud? Proud people get envious, and envy will turn your hair red. I'm sure of it. Something's doing it. It is not a natural color, that's for sure. Orange is the new black. And that's what this earth is facing. And we don't own earth. I know you're territorial. You like to have your borders and compartmentalize and keep people out and call them illegal aliens and all sorts of terrible names. Oh, you're going to have a terrible life review, I promise, because your spirit, guys, your spirit is not evil at all. We are all pure love on the other side. Narcissists, psychopaths, malignant or not, they are everywhere now, entitled and easily offended, and you better tiptoe around them because they say out loud to shame you in public. They don't mind. In person, they will shame you in public or in comments. Those ones that come along and really trigger you. It's on purpose. A lot of these groups attract terrible people, like especially the narcissism groups. You're going to get a lot of narcissists. A lot of daycares are going to, and schools are going to get a lot of pedophiles because we tend to go where we're comfortable. And I know that pedophiles, if they're attracted to kids, it's between certain age groups, like between 3 and 5, or 8 and 11, or 11 and 16. These preferred ages come when they stopped growing emotionally. They are that age. And so they do relate with the kids.